Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. With the arrival of the President and Chairman of Council, Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, I'd like to announce that we are about to begin this event. I'd like to urge that where you are seated, if you look straight and you have an empty seat ahead of you, that empty seat is actually for you. Please let's make the needed adjustment and move forward as we start right now. Please, let's move forward. Except on the reserved seat, if it is not reserved, if it is not written reserved, it is reserved for you. If it is not written reserved, it is unwrittenly reserved for you. Please move forward. I see an empty seat on my left-hand side. The second seat is just having a brother there who is holding his camera trying to snap me. Let's have people behind him join him on that seat. Yes, my brother, bring that your tea. Just move to the seat ahead of you. Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you. The man that is asking you to move to the seat ahead of you with his laptop will also join you there. My brother on the native dress will also join you there. He's having his own eyeglass like myself. Please, let's join him. Let's make the adjustment. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Yes. Thank you. He's looking like it. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Okay. With that done, I'd like us to begin straight. I see that some of us are still going for our tea. So, but once we start, I will ask that the servers at the tea point, you please pause, and so that we do the business of the day. So at this point, please let's stop serving of the tea now, so that we don't keep our guest speakers and the president waiting. I want to believe our guest speaker and the president may have taken their tea where we don't see them. So we should we should then keep them here taking our tea where they see us. So let's give them the honor and suspend taking of tea now so that we can start. On that note, I'd like to once again welcome all of us to today's event. It promises to be one of the best for the automobile group. We'd like to begin this with the rendition of our national anthem as our custom is here at SCCI. Please, let's be upstanding as we take the national anthem for us to start. Thank you so much. Please do have your seat. Thank you. We'd like to recognize the presence of few of our leaders as we have them present today. First is on my list is the President and Chairman of Council of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mr. Gabriel Idauza, FCA. Let's put them together for the President. Thank you, sir. Thank you for showing up, sir. Thank you, sir. On a lighter note, you see that my president is here today, not dressed in the suit as usual. He's dressed in the Emilocon dress. If I had known, I would have also come with my own Emilocon to support my president. Mr. President, sir, pardon me for not coming with my Emilocon cap and the dress. Thank you, sir. We also have with us today the chair of the this sector in SCCI, Dr. Femi Ehiyide, right? Let's put them together for Dr. Femi, please. Permit me to just say Dr. Femi. He will school me properly on that name. And in addition, I think he will get me a wife also from that side. So that, thank you, Dr. Femi, for leading us well, leading the group so well. We have with us also one of our guest speakers, I believe is around, Chief Otumba Oluwemimoje Osanipin. Let's put them together for him. Is he in? Yes. All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you. You see, they will pardon me today because all this Emilocon cap, I like it, but I didn't come with mine. Pardon me. Thank you, Otumba. We also have, and Otumba is the Director General of the National Automobile Design and Development Council in Nigeria. Thank you. Also, we have, I believe he's around, Dr. Chief Anselm Ilekuba. Is he in? Dr. Ilekuba? Okay, it's on his way. Okay. Please, when he comes, let me know so that I can properly recognize him. We have our moderator today. I believe he's also in, Mr. Ufoma Umukoro. Is he in? Okay, let's put that together for Mr. Ufoma. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Okay, please permit me to hold on the recognitions until I have the full list. But to make a welcome address, welcoming us to today's event is none other but the chair of the group. Put your hands together for, permit me to invite Dr. Femi for his welcome address. Put your hands together for Dr. Femi, please. Please, let's clap for Dr. Femi. It's only my president that is clapping. Thank you, Doc.
Good morning, everyone. I like the MC has made my job very easy. He has established the protocols, and I would like to stand on those existing protocols. Don't mind me, like the governor of Rivers State said when he got elected, and the night of the preceding his inauguration, he was doing protocols, and then he said he was just new on the job, and he was one day on the job. So pardon me, this is my first outing as chair of the auto group sector. Thank you very much. I would like to thank the president and chairman of council for the immense support we have received in the course of planning this program. My job is very easy this morning. I want to thank and welcome the Director General the National Automotive Design and Development Council, for honoring us with his presence. I want to thank all our panelists. I want to thank all industry stakeholders who have created time out of their busy schedules to be here with us today. Our topic for interaction and discourse today is very important to the growth and development of the automotive sector in Nigeria, as you will all agree with me. So here's to welcoming everyone to a robust session of discussions, conversations around moving the automotive sector in Nigeria forward. I would like to say I wish every one of us a wonderful and fruitful deliberations. And I expect that at the end of the entire symposium, the objective for putting together this symposium will be achieved. Thank you very much. And I think at this point, I would say my job is done. I'll hand over the microphone back to the chair. Thank you, and God bless.
Let's put hands together for the chair, Dr. Femi. Thank you, sir. From experience on this job, what I noticed is that powerful men are always very few in words, was very deep in action. I believe Dr. Femi completely falls into that category of great leaders who believe more in actions than just long speeches. Once again, Dr. Femi, thank you for doing the needful. Just before we have the opening remarks from our father, the president and chairman of council here at Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, I'd like to recognize a few of our leaders who are here. We have with us Otumba Adekunle Jayesimi, Deputy MD, CFA Motors. Let's put hands together for Otumba Jayesimi. Is he in? Thank you, sir. Thank you, Otumba. When I grow old, I like to have that title, Otumba, too. We also have Miss, I can't get this. Is it Joy or Gels ED Mikano? Is it in? Ably represented by Abdul Kadri. Do we have Abdul Kadri in? Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for doing the needful. I believe when the time comes, we will have you make remarks when need be. All right. So we like to have the opening remarks from our father. I usually refer to him as the first citizen of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, a president with first-class mind and first-class hands, leading a set of first-class chamber. Put your hands together for the president and chairman of council, Mr. Gabriel Idausa, FCA, for his opening remarks. Let's clap for the president, please.
Otumba Oluwemimo Oshanikwe, FCA. I just learned this morning that the Director General of NAIDP is a chartered accountant and a colleague. It's a real pleasure to welcome you to this event. It is your event, and I was looking forward to your being present rather than sending someone to represent the National Automotive Design and Development Council. The chairman of the group, the brand new chairman of the group, Dr. Femi Egwahide, I think this is your first assignment since you resumed duty. The immediate leadership of the group, they are here. I want to thank the immediate past leadership and the new leadership for starting on a very grand scale, getting the Director General of NAIDP himself to be present. I think that's a very great start for this new leadership. I congratulate you for that. It's a great honor to welcome you to this essential gathering of stakeholders in Nigeria's automotive ecosystem. Today's theme, the impact of non-passage of the NAIDP policy into law on the automobile industry, could not be more timely, because it speaks to the challenges and opportunities shaping our nation's industrial future. The National Automotive Industry Development Plan was designed as a strategic blueprint to transform Nigeria's automobile sector. Its objectives were clear: to promote local manufacturing, attract investments, create jobs, encourage technology transfer, and gradually reduce our dependence on imported vehicles and components. At its core, the NAIDP aims to build a sustainable automotive value chain that supports inclusive growth and competitiveness. Unfortunately, the non-passage of this crucial policy into law has slowed down the progress we badly need and weakened investor confidence in the sector. Without legal backing, the industry faces uncertainty, inconsistent implementation, and policy reversals that discourage both local and foreign investors in an industry that naturally requires long-term investments. The result has been limited capital inflows into the sector, stalled assembly operations scattered around the country, and continued reliance on imported vehicles that drain our foreign exchange reserves continuously. The consequences are significant. Thousands of potential jobs remain unrealized. Local content growth is limited. Nigeria has lost its regional competitors like South Africa and Morocco that have leveraged clear automotive policies to attract global original equipment manufacturers. The absence of a binding framework that limits backward integration, meaning that many assembled vehicles, assembled in quotes that is, still rely heavily, almost entirely, on imported parts. This undermines the policy's goal of stimulating our domestic supply chain and technical capacity. Moreover, the uncertainty surrounding the policy has led to regulatory fragmentation. Operators feel overlapping mandates. They face overlapping mandates, arbitrary tariffs, and conflicting guidelines from different agencies. Without legal clarity, the industry cannot long-term plan or make any strategic investments that are necessary to build modern plants, train the engineers and technicians, or support local innovation. Despite these setbacks, the opportunities definitely remain. Nigeria remains a strong domestic market, boasting a robust entrepreneurial base and a young, energetic workforce. With the right legislative action, we can reignite investor interest and position Nigeria as the automotive hub for West Africa. The global shift towards electric vehicles and clean technologies also presents an opportunity for Nigeria to leapfrog into modern, sustainable vehicle production if the right incentives are legislated now. To move forward, we need a clear roadmap. Through the advocacy and consensus building of the private sector players, facilitated by the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry and allied associations, we must jointly engage the National Assembly and the executive arm of government to expedite action on the NAIDP. Furthermore, policy refinements and stakeholder alignments should be considered to ensure the plan is reviewed to incorporate realistic incentives, balanced tariffs, sensible tariffs, tariffs that makes investment sense, and achievable local content targets. In addition to phased implementation, the government can introduce interim executive measures like executive orders to sustain momentum while awaiting the full implementation of legislation. The cost of inaction is far greater than the effort required to act. That's why we believe that we can act and we can get results. Every delay prolongs the unemployment that is building up that should be employed in the auto industry. It deepens Nigeria's import dependence, unfortunately, and weakens an already weak country's industrial base. The passage of the NAIDP into law is not merely a political milestone. It is an economic imperative. It is something that has to be done. It's not nice to do. It is the foundation upon which we can build a competitive, innovative, and job-creating automotive industry. In the face of rising uncertainties and crises surrounding tariffs globally, Nigeria, with its massive population, cannot afford to continue to depend on imports to meet its mobility needs. We urge government to demonstrate a clear, greater commitment to driving the adoption of e-mobility assets around the CNG initiative and electric vehicles industry promotion and support. If we can act decisively, Nigeria can reclaim its place as a regional automotive industry leader, create the jobs that it truly deserves, and ensure a sustainable industrial base for generations to come. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, Mr. President, for that very powerful one. Let's put down together for the president, please. Thank you, sir. You agree with me that our president is not only a leader in his sector, but one of the best voices we can have in this country. But permit me, let's wait till sometimes in December when I can do my proper tribute to the president. Mr. President, sir, thank you so much for leading us forward. Just to mention that Otumba Adekunle Jayesimi, as duly recognized by the president, this is the immediate past chair of this group, Dr. Femi. This is his virgin event, if there's anything like that. Thank you so much, Otumba. It also shows that you are a good leader who believes in his successor, and you are having a very great one indeed, I must believe. And I believe, Dr. Femi, will move the sector forward from where you have handed over to him. Thank you for showing up, sir. Thank you. All right, so we're going to have the first guest speaker. I believe you also agree with me that those with a Milocon cap and not just a Milocon by cap, but very unique and deep, very deep, very well with what they do. Put your hands together for Chief Otumba Oluwemimoje Osanipin, the Director General of the National Automobile Design and Development Council in Nigeria. Put your hands together for him for his speech. Let's clap for him until he comes, please. We're having a DG here. Thank you, DG. Thank you.
The President and the Chairman of Council of LCCI, Mr. Gabriel Idausa, FCA, the Chairman of the sector, Dr. Femi Iguahide. Please permit me to stand on the already established protocol. Good morning, everyone. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Captain of Industries, member of Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, esteemed colleagues and partners in national development, good morning to you all. It is a great honor to stand before you today on a matter so central to Nigeria's industrial transformation and our country development. This is the Nigeria Automotive Industry Development Plan, NAIDP. Since its introduction in 2014, NAIDP has been a comprehensive roadmap for developing our automotive sector, creating jobs, attracting investment, deepening technology transfer, and driving backward integration. However, the absence of its passage into law, that is the absence of legislation, continue to pose significant risk to these gains and hinder the sector from reaching its full potential. We are aware of this. Having said this, we have recorded some gains under NAIDP. The NAIDP was meticulously conceived as a list of policies and fiscal incentives to galvanize our auto manufacturing industry and support vehicle production in the country. The plan stand, especially that of 2023 to 2033, stand on 7 pillars, which include investment promotion, market expansion, local component development, capacity building, cost competitiveness, technology and innovation, then safety and standard. These 7 pillars serve as the core to NAIDP. These are the things we set out to achieve under the policy, under the plan. Through this plan, we have witnessed a remarkable revival of local automotive assembly after decades of dormancy. Today, we are witnessing the assembling in the country of some popular brands, while some local brands like Innocent, Nord, Jet are coming up also. The plan has successfully attracted investment and commitment from over 58 automotive assemblers. And lately, more of them are into EV assembly. That's those ones that want to assemble electric vehicle, be it 4-wheeler, 3-wheeler, or 2-wheelers. With more than 30 of these assembly are already active. The initiative has not only fostered the assembly of vehicles, but are also laid the groundwork for a broader automotive ecosystem. NADDC has been at the forefront of implementing the key aspects of NAIDP, especially in the following areas: market expansion. In market expansion, you will agree with me that the president, this current administration, came up with Nigerian First policy, which encouraged patronage of Nigerian-made or Nigerian assembled vehicles. And you will also agree with me that almost 100% of all the CNG procurement made by this present administration have been from local assemblers. Capacity building. We have established and equipped 18 training centers across the country. These 18 training centers are used to train auto technicians and also help to grow the capacity of the auto technicians in the country. The council, in partnership with other stakeholders, we have some of the assemblers that are working with us in this regard to train some of the local technicians. We have, with the partnership, we have trained about 30,000 technicians across the country, and we continue to train more. Local component development. The council currently working with ACMAN because we realized that we cannot do it alone. When we came in, we had meeting with local components, especially those ones that were in cluster in the eastern part of Nigeria, Newi to be specific. We met them, even though a lot of them didn't have faith in what we were doing. They told us they were not interested. because of disappointment of the past. But we work with them and we had a lot of discussion with them. We were able to bring all the local component manufacturers together, and we met with some assembler in Abuja, where the minister then encouraged us to have a MOU signed. So we signed an MOU with them, and apart from that, we've met them severally in order to know what the kind of problem they're having, and how we can come in solving those problems. And luckily, ACMAN as an association have been very effective now. So we work through ACMAN, and we have identified some components that we are going to start with. We cannot win it all by doing all the components at the same time. So we've met them, and we are starting with two-wheelers and three-wheelers. We've identified the components that can easily be produced by these people, and we are working with that. We have a committee already working on it, comprising of the assemblers as well as ACMAN people, and then a member of the council. And based on what the discovery and what they have said, we've itemized those ones that we are going to, first of all, ascertain that the production meet the standard required by the assemblers. Immediately, we meet the standard. If they don't meet it, we work with them to ensure they meet those standards. And after they have met those standards, we now move to the next stage of component deletion from those ones that will be imported into the country. We are working with ACMAN to achieve this, and we continue to work with them. But again, if we are doing this without providing the necessary facility or infrastructure to support them, the job will not be done. And that's why we have gone ahead to make sure that we equip Material Test Center in Zaria. We have finished the equipment, it's just waiting for commissioning. The components test center also in Enugu, we are working on them. And the stage we are now is just for the installation of the equipment so that we'll be able to do the test. Because if you produce a component and you can't test them to ensure that they meet international standard and they meet SON standard, it means the job done is zero, because the assemblers and the local, even for after sales, SON will not allow them to sell those products in Nigeria. So that's why we are equipping the component test center in Enugu, so that by the time our component manufacturer manufacture this, they will be able to test and ascertain the standard as well as the quality of those components. So the component test center in Enugu is nearing completion stage. Apart from this, we are putting together auto industrial park. We are starting, we have ambition to have 3 across the country, but we are starting with the one in Nnewi. The one in Nnewi, we've gone far, and we want to build this in a way that we can move most of the component manufacturers that are operating in different shallows to that same facility, where they will be able to share the facility, share the infrastructure, and we believe they can do this. They will be able to bring down the cost of production, which will make their product competitive in the market price-wise. So we have gone far with this. We have met the government because we are doing it with federal government, state government, and the community. So we have met the state government. They have done their own part. The community have done their own part. We have done, but we are at the stage of getting the private sector to invest in that park. So we are discussing with Movi as well as the consultant we are using. We are using what's this people name in India that have designed that place for us. And the level we are now is just to go to market to source for investor to develop it, because according to UNIDO, there's no way we as government can finance that alone. The bill, their estimates, the kind of investment that we needed for that park cannot be met by the government. They have told us that in world over, those parks are not done by government alone. So we are working with them, with UNIDO, so that we can move to the next stage of marketing the park. Furthermore, we have successfully completed the solar power EV charging because of the new energy vehicle. Because the country, the world is moving gradually from what we know as ICE to a new energy vehicle. So, and we need to move with them. We need to move with the way, we need to move with the trend. Because we need to move with trend, we have started discussing and learning from those that are already ahead of us in terms of new energy vehicle. The new energy vehicle and for us in Nigeria, even though we know we are a bit behind, why countries like China are already moving from CNG to EV, we are taking EV, then we are taking CNG, and from CNG to EV. So we are doing the two together. Our new energy vehicle, we are supporting the adoption of CNG by doing training and as well as doing certification of the conversion centers. So we accredit conversion centers. As of today, we have accredited about 300 conversion centers across the country. All the assemblers are already certified as conversion center, but we have other workshops that are not vehicle assemblers, but they are technicians and they can do the conversion. So we have done accreditation for over 300 conversion centers across the country. And in doing this, we want them to be able to apply while they are in their offices. So the application and all the processes are already online. You don't need to come to us. You don't need to fill any form. You don't need to write any letter to us. Just go to our website and apply directly. We will look at it and then go for on-site visitation and accredit. So we are doing all this to support the new energy transition. Again, for the EV, we have come up with processes to adopt that will aid the adoption of EV. And we are also started by providing some infrastructure across the country. We are starting with some universities. We are providing charging stations across some of these universities. We have Calabar, Uniben, OAU, Zaria, Sokoto, Kano, Enugu, Owerri. So we are providing this charging station. This charging station is just to stimulate and encourage people to start adopting electric vehicle. We know also that some manufacturers will want to manufacture electric vehicle or assemble electric vehicle in Nigeria, but they will not do that if the infrastructure are not in place, because nobody will want to buy if they cannot charge. And investors will not want to provide investment. They don't want to invest on charging station if the manufacturers are not manufacturing and if people are not buying. So we decided to invest first in the infrastructure to encourage the assemblers as well as manufacturers to start producing electric vehicle. So again, we have come up with National Occupational Standard on how to retrofit CNG vehicles, how to convert CNG vehicles. We have also come up with National Occupational Standards on how to maintain electric vehicles. So these standards are put together by our team as well as stakeholders. Some of them are sitting here this morning. So these stakeholders have come up with National Occupational Standard that will serve as guide, as curriculum also for training auto technician, not only auto technician, because these occupational standards are of different level to train people, the technician, the technologists, the craftsmen, the engineers in auto manufacturing. But whatever we do here, whatever we must have done, and whatever we are still doing, we still not have that great impact if we have not done the basic one. And that basic one is legislation. And that's why we are here today. Legislation, because if you look at what are needed for the industry to grow, there are about 3 major things. And the first one is legislation. The second one is used vehicle. What are we doing about it? And the third one is credit scheme. The second one and the third one can also be handled by legislation. So what that means is that legislation is the key. Though we have 3 parts, but the major one still address the other 2. Because if the legislation is there, there are some funds that are supposed to be channeled through legislation to stimulating demand as well as supporting supply. That is supporting the manufacturer, which is supply side, and then demand side is the credit scheme. So these are what we know that without this, we cannot achieve what we want to achieve. So that's why I said, despite the fact that we have witnessed this significant achievement, we are not unaware of the implication of non-passage of NAIDP into law. And since we are aware of this, what have we done? When we came in, we realized that the government have 1 or 2 issues concerning some clauses on the policy. I met Ministry of Justice, and they highlighted those ones that we have will I say we now, that government have 1 or 2 misconceptions about. And when I look at it also, I realize that it might have been a mistake from our own part because of there are some existing law. Let me mention the law concerning capital allowance, for example, and law concerning pioneer status, for example. As at that then, those laws were not repealed. And if we are coming with our own clauses here that are talking about pioneer status and talking about capital allowance, and they are not in line, in tandem with the provision of those laws, it means there are going to be conflicts. How are those conflicts going to be resolved? So when we started, that was when government set up tax review committee. We met the tax review committee, and they advised us to wait a bit so that by the time the tax law is passed, then we will now be able to key in and align whatever is our own clause within that with the provision of those clauses. And if that will not be enough for what we want, then we can come up with further amendments. So that was why we waited a bit, but immediately the law has been passed. We've also swung into action to make sure that those ones are aligned, and we have written to align our own position with the position of this new passed law. So with that, most of the issues we have with that are already settled. And we are with Ministry of Justice now, just for them to pass it, then we can move straight to National Assembly. We are looking at 2 things. Number 1, there are going to be amendments. And the amendment is going to be the amendment of NADDC Act. The NADDC Act will be changed to what is known as Nigeria Automotive Industry Law. And that law is going to be the creation, is going to be what creates or empower NADDC, as well as take care of most of the clauses in NAIDP. So that while we have major clauses, most of the things that concerns us, that give us concern in NAIDP are going to be inserted as amendment into that particular act. So with that, I will say the core clauses in that policy will be taken care of. Why we still continue to push for the policy. But even if that policy is still left the same way, it means the major things are already into law through that amendment of that act. And we have already briefed our committee in the National Assembly. We've met the presidency and we've met Chief of Staff, who has also given us his backing 100%. He told us immediately we are ready, we should come. The presidency will push it for us. We have met the National Assembly members. They are also ready for this. So we just need one or two things to iron out. Immediately we are through with that. The passage, we don't envisage any roadblock or any hindrance again. So we expect that in no time that will be passed. Again, one of the reasons we want this law to be passed is because of the other two I now explained. The used vehicle as well as policy inconsistency. Because for us to be able to tackle used vehicle, we need act as well as policy. When the chairman was giving his keynote address, he mentioned something about those one that we can do in the short term through executive order. And those one is what we are addressing now. We have started addressing the issue of used vehicle. We are doing it in conjunction with SON. We have gotten to the last level of the approval stage so that we start implementation. We have already briefed custom, we have briefed Ministry of Finance, we have briefed everybody. We just need to brief one, or we just go a level above the ministers so that we'll be able to start implementation. What will that means? We are not going to outrightly ban used vehicle now until when the act is out. But we are going to systematically discourage the importation of used vehicle through two means. The first one is certification of imported used vehicle at source, at the origin, so that most of the used vehicle coming to Nigeria, we certainly, majority of them, will fail that test. And then we start reducing the number as well as increasing the quality of these used vehicle coming into Nigeria. And by the time we start doing this, it will gradually putting the price and putting the quality toward the new one and making the new one also be more attractive to the used one that are already, most of them are already scrapped in the country of origin. So because they are scrap and they brought here scrap, so our people prefer it because of price, not because of quality and not because of safety. So we are using quality as well as safety to drive this. And that's number one. Number two is the implementation of age limit. We are pushing for implementation of age limit, which also will reduce the number of used vehicles that are coming into the country. So we are using all this to systematically discourage the influx of used vehicles into the country. And by the time we are through with this, the NAIDP, the law will be passed. Then we can now use the instrumentality of the law to implement the other parts of that. And again, the other one is the credit scheme. We are working, the federal government has created a credit corp And we are working with Credit Corps to ensure that Auto have the lion's share of their funding. Currently, what they made available to Auto was just 20 billion naira. Though that 20 billion naira is a major part of their of the fund they have available. But we know that that 20 billion will not do anything in Auto. So we are working with them as well as other agencies and also with higher authorities, so that based on what we mentioned about the short-term approach, executive orders, so that more funds can be pushed into Credit Corps to service auto sector. Again, we are not unaware of the implication of all this if we fail to do that, especially as it affects African Continental Free Trade Area. Because of the rule of origin, we stipulate that 40% of whatever you want to export to other countries must be produced locally. And that's why we are focusing more efforts in component part development. And we know we need to act fast. All of us, not only the government, but also the Chamber of Commerce, because majority, for example, LCCI, majority of auto assemblers are either in Lagos or they are in Ogun State, which is also within your purview. So majority of these people are here, and we need to work on increasing local components so that we'll be able to meet the rule of origin for AFTA, so that Nigerians will be able to participate in AFTA. We have discussed with most of the assemblers, and in our last meeting with assembler, we made it clear that in Nigeria, we don't need 70 assemblers. We don't need 50 assemblers. We don't need 30 assemblers. If we have 10 assemblers that can produce volume, it is okay for us. So that volume will be able to drive the market. We've also discussed with them, let's start with economy vehicles. Most of the country that we talk about Morocco, we talk about South Africa. Most of them produce economy vehicle. Volkswagen produce only Polo in South Africa. Morocco, they have, most of the vehicle they produce is just one brand. The second one is coming up, and that one brand is majorly economy vehicle. So let's produce economy vehicle that can be used for local commercial transportation, the Ubers, the AA riders, so that this is where Nigerians want, this is where the volume is. This is where the volume is. In South Africa, they produce the local economy, they produce the low economy vehicle, and they still import the high-end vehicle. The same way in Morocco, they still import their premium vehicle. But the volume that is required to drive the economy, the volume that is required to drive the local component is in economy vehicle. So we need legislation to attract the necessary investment into this sector. And that's why we are pushing, because we know nobody wants to commit billions, not only in Naira, in dollar, to auto if the legislation will not protect or give comfort for that investment. We know how capital intensive it is, especially auto, how capital intensive auto is. For anyone to develop a very good, complete line is billions. In fact, it's billions of dollars, not only Naira. It's billions of dollars. And if anyone is going to invest that amount, we know what it's going to take. Again, in our market promotion effort, because the vehicle manufacturer in Nigeria are of international standard. But most of Nigerians, I don't know why, some of us don't have that faith in what we produce. I enjoy all of us Let charity begin at home. Let all of us start. Those of us in the industry, start by using the locally assembled vehicle first. I was with the custom and he said his own favorite vehicle is a locally made vehicle. And that's what he drives when he wants to drive vehicle on his own. And because of that, he has come up with a policy. Their procurements are going to be locally assembled vehicle. And we have started going around some of the agencies also. So thank God, Custom has started it. And we are working with PPP to ensure that minimum percentage is given to locally assembled vehicle, so that any MDAs that want to buy vehicle without meeting that, we are going to state, we are not going to say you are buying utility, we are going to say so utility from so, go and check this list. And it has to be that. If you can't meet that one, procurement will not occur. I know of one particular agency that wanted to buy ambulances. And when it was turned down from the presidency, they came back to us. We gave them lists of local assemblers, and they bought from these local assemblers. We want that, and we are pushing that through PPP, and we are getting the support. Luckily, as I mentioned, Custom has started it, and others will soon follow suit. We want all of us to start promoting what we produce. Because if we don't sow that faith, others that are not in the system will not sow faith. I use locally assembled vehicle, and wherever we go to meeting, everybody adore, they see it, they know that it's fine. The only thing they will say about it, we are within ourselves, say, oh, we are not so sure of the second-hand value. And I always tell them, until you use it, you won't know how the second-hand value will be. Let all of us use it first, then we'll now see how the second-hand value will be later. Let's promote this. And in our efforts to promote the locally assembled vehicle, we have started something we call Auto Half Hour on national TV. 30 minutes on NTA and 30 minutes on TVC. And we dedicated greater part of that, of each episode, to talk to our local assemblers, to promote their product, so that they will be able to explain to Nigerians how the production process and the type of quality they produce from their production lines. This has gone in a long way in exposing locally assembled vehicles, and also some components that we produce in Nigeria. 2 days ago, we showcased Born Al-Eri Motors that manufacture car seats, vehicle seats, a lot. And these seats meet international standard. So we are promoting him so that he will be able to produce for even the new assembly companies. But currently, it cannot even meet the market of after-sales market. That is those people that have bought their vehicle and they want to change to a particular type of leather. So it couldn't even meet their demand. So we are also promoting that. We have a clear vision to establish a complete automotive ecosystem, from assembly plants to component production, and from research and development to skill training. Our commitment extends to promoting green mobility and circular economy initiative. You will agree with me that we just launched our end-of-life recycling system. We are talking to investors to establish recycling, auto recycling facility in Lagos and Abuja to start as a pilot. And we have the enabling law, enabling regulation, let me say regulation, not law now, enabling regulation to support that. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the path forward requires collaboration and collective will. I therefore call on Lagos Chambers of Commerce and Industry as a key voice of the private sector to join NAIDP in championing the passage of this policy into law. Not only that, in promoting the use of locally assembled vehicles. It is time for us to speak with one voice and secure the Nigerian place in the continental automotive powerhouse. Together, we can safeguard our investment, strengthen our industrial base, and create more jobs for the teeming youth. I thank you all for your kind attention, and I look forward to our discussion and collective action. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, DG. Let's put our hands together once again for our able DG, very explicit. I'm very sure that during our Q&A, there will be one or two clarifications we want him to make for us. I'd like to recognize the presence of our sister. She walked in when the DG started. She is the immediate past chair of the Entertainment and Creative Unit, Creative Group here at SCCI, Dr. Ngozi Omobalam. Let's put our hands together for Ngozi. Thank you, ma. Thank you for showing up. All right. On the order of program, we are supposed to have Chief Anselm Ilekumba. I'm told he's head up somewhere in traffic. He will join us, and I believe before the day is done. He is the chair of Association of Local Content Manufacturer of Nigeria. But with that done, we would like to move to the panel discussions. And I know on the list we have the moderator already. So what I would do is to bring the moderator up for just about 45 minutes. I must confess, we are not doing well with the time. So moderator, please bear with me. I will have to take 10, 15 minutes out of your 1 hour so that we can eventually be good with our time. Let me invite to then bring up the panelists, the moderator for this session, Mr. Ufoma Umokoro. Let's put hands together for Mr. Ufoma, please. So I will hand over the mic for you for the next 45 minutes. You bring your panelists. I don't know them, you do. Then drill them for the next 45 minutes. Thank you so much, Mr. Ufoma.
Good morning, everybody. We'll be calling up the panelists straight ahead. My name is Ufoma Umukoro, Director of Sales and After Sales, Costaris Motors. We'll be calling on Otumba Adekule.
Sorry, I was supposed to do this before I brought my big brother to moderate this session. Please, while the session is going on, we are doing a little survey. So you will see one or two of our staff come to your table, either give you a form to fill or ask a little question for you to skip down some information to be able to help us in this survey. Please avail them the opportunity. They are from us. They have our blessings. That's one. Two, on your table, we have the QR code there. Please do well to scan them. They will take you directly to SCCI. All that you need to know about our newsletter, our corporate profile, that you may not see here now, and how you can join the chamber if you are not a member yet. That's very important to me in particular. Thank you so much, Mr. Moderator.
Okay, we would like to call up Otumba Adekule Jayesimi, the Deputy Managing Director of CFO Mobility. Please come up, sir. I think you can take your seat. Yeah, good. The next person would be Ms. Joella Hakim, the ED of Meccano, represented by Saim Abul Kader, who is the National Sales Manager. I would like to call the DG of NAIDP, Otumba Joseph Osaknikpi. Thank you, Alpaco. You're welcome. The other person on the list is not yet here. So if he comes, we will call him up. Basically, you're all welcome, and you've heard the presentation. So I think we'll start with you. No, we'll start with you, sir. We just want to see your response to what has been said. I hope that mic is working. There's a mic by every stool. It's working. Yes. Okay. So I just want, if we could start, you give your response, a brief response to what has been said and your views on the issue. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I want to appreciate the automobile and allied sector of LCCI for giving us this opportunity to dwell on this very important topic. Like the DG of NAIDP rightly said, we've been having a discussion on the passage of this law since actually DG should be 2013, because the initial introduction of the auto policy was around September, October 2013. I remember then when the former Minister of Finance, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, came out with this instruction that all 4 MEMS that we opened as at October 4th then will attract the regular duty, that anything after October 4th would, have the, if you take the new tax rate, that's the 35% duty and 35% levy, would, be introduced. That was at the instance of the then Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Olusegun Aganga. I was part of, those that met him in Abuja, and we really dwelled on the fact that what he was trying to introduce, or the government was trying to introduce then, that we are ill prepared for it, that, stakeholders should be carried along. So we had extensive discussion on this before the eventual postponement of the policy to 2014. And here we are still, trying to push for, the passage of, the law. I want to really appreciate your coming on board, because what we have been clamoring for is to have an industry expert as head of NADDC. The previous occupier of the office, the initial one was from the civil service. The second occupier was a technocrat from the General Motors in Detroit. And now we're having an indigenous person, well knowledgeable in automobile. And I want to really commend what you have been able to do so far, because it's not an easy task, to attract investors into, this scheme. Maybe as, we are, progressing in our discussion, I'll be practical and tell you what it took my organization to bring in Mitsubishi Motor Corporation, into Nigeria. And the non-passage of the law has been, of demerit to our sector, because serious investors will look at, the legal framework of, what will guide their investment before bringing in their, money into the system. But even at that, we're able to convince them to come around, and we promised then that in a very short while, the legal aspects of the law, would be, regularized. But here we are today. But with the assurance you've given now that the bill has gone back to the Attorney General, Minister of, Justice. So we want to believe that, okay, maybe for once, since the last 12 or 11 years, I mean, the law will see the light of the day. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. I think I'll just go to Said Abubakar and ask you, how is the non-passage of the law affecting the auto industry, maybe your company or the industry today?
Good morning, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Siam Abdulkader, and sorry, just to clarify, I am the National Operations Manager of Mekano North Sales. I just want to clarify that because I want to know people to know I'm speaking from a place of what's happening on the ground and not in terms of selling the cars.
Okay.
Just to clarify that aspect. Okay. Thank you. I would say in regards to the non-passage of the NAIDP policy, I had the privilege of being at the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria conference a few weeks ago. And one of the topics that was discussed was just the consistency of regulations. Now, this is something that was introduced in 2013. However, we're now in 2025, and we're talking about the revised act, which was the 10-year plan from 2023 to 2033. What this does for investors, for assemblers, is it doesn't give you the stability to plan. It doesn't give you the ability to understand or project what your investment is going to look like for the next 5 years or 10 years or whatever it may be. A key thing that we also mentioned at that conference, which I believe is very important, is for our regulations. Our legislations have the ability to survive political cycles. Now, I say this, I'm sure everyone can tell from the distinguished panel that we have here, I'm probably the least experienced or the younger one on this stage. However, I can tell you from my experiences, I lived in China for 15 years before I came back to Nigeria. I lived there, I finished my school there, I worked there for some time. And this is something that I use as an example. In 2008, when they had the Olympics, they had an overpopulation of cars on the road. They had tourists and investors coming in, and they needed a way to control traffic. What was the first thing they did? Which was, okay, they limited the plate numbers, which is you have a certain series on your plate number. These are the days you're allowed to drive your car on the road. You have a certain series of plate number. This is the days you're allowed to drive your car on the road. That was the first step for them to reduce pollution. Now, the next step, within the next few years, I think it was in the early 2010s, they started their China 2030 Green Initiative, which is they wanted to have, by 2030, above 90% of cars on the road being EV. What did that do for their industry? As you can see now, most of our OEMs are of Chinese origin. We all know this, right? We've seen what happened with BYD, how they were able to now take that policy and build on that to the point where they became the largest EV manufacturer in the world, and they even beat Tesla. This is something that happened from early 2010s, and they were looking at it for 2030. And now, as you speak in 2025, we have seen what that policy has done for their entire auto industry. Now, I say that to just emphasize that the key thing for us as assemblers is that consistency in regulations and legislation. Right now, from what DG has said, I believe we are on the right track with the current administration. I have seen myself, based on the automotive hour as DG was talking about, I was part of that program where the NADDC is doing its best to promote local assemblers and to ensure that the consumer knows about the products that are being made in Nigeria. And for us also, for corporates, for government to push Nigeria first policy, right? Which is, if we have a product that is assembled here in Nigeria or produced here in Nigeria, the consumer should have the knowledge about it. So, and we should also be able to have confidence in that product. With Mekano, I can tell you that We have a world-class assembly line. We produce our vehicles here in Nigeria. However, the second point where he mentioned, which is the used cars, is something that, of course, will always be a challenge, right? Nigeria is one of the few countries that I've seen where retail clients are required to purchase a car outright. Most countries, it's always credit scheme. So the Credit Corp initiative that we have currently, that the NAIDP is pushing, is something that will boost retail sales and will boost for consumers to be able to afford the vehicles, right? Affordability is very important. And then the last stage I will add, which is in regards to NAIDP, making sure we have that local content in assembly, right? We have the suppliers, we have people that are assembling the parts, we have the raw materials. Now, if we can just put our hands together, both the private sector and the government, push innovation, push stability in terms of the regulation, and I believe all of this will help push the industry forward, and it will help put the Nigeria produced or Nigeria assembled products on the map, and it will show the quality and the standard that it has, and it will allow the entire country to know that we are producing, we are assembling these products here, and you do not have to rely on imports to get the quality you need. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, Mr. Tumba Joseph Osanik. Please, I wanted to ask, do you want to respond to any of those things? I can go ahead and ask you a question. I can go ahead. Okay, I wanted to find out the challenges of used cars from your perspective, the challenges of used cars to the evolving of the Nigerian auto industry. The used cars are there, in my opinion, as a result of the price entry point, because the purchasing power is down. Does the act take into, or what you're working on is commendable, but do we take into account that nobody buys a used car because it is used, but because it's affordable? How do we navigate through that?
Thank you. Yes, you are right to say it's because it's affordable. But again, in almost all the countries of the world, hardly will you find a country where someone buy a car with 100% down payment. It's not done. So it means people buy cars on credit. So even if you don't have the fund, if we get the credit system working, consumer credit working, which credit card is doing now, Nigeria will be able to afford, because you buy car not to use the car for only 1 year or 2 years. It's something you are going to use for a period of times. So you can buy the car with facility and then be able to pay over the life of that car. And again, for example, let's take a country like South Africa. South Africa they sell used vehicle, but those used vehicles are developed internally. What I mean developed internally, they don't bring used vehicle into the country. If we have our system working where people buy new vehicle, some people like you can use your new vehicle for 2-3 years, and you want to dispose it and move to a new version. So the people that will buy the new vehicle that have lower economic capacity, we still buy that used vehicle internally. And by so doing, we'll be able to develop used vehicle markets. In South Africa, the used vehicle market is even bigger than the new vehicle market. But because they don't bring it in, it will encourage the production of the new one, because people will keep on buying new one in order to, when you drop the used one, you move to the new one. People will keep on moving up. So it's not because of affordability alone. And that's why we're addressing the issue of credit, consumer credit. We believe if we get there with legislation and credits, consumer credits, Nigeria will buy new vehicles.
Okay, thank you. But just to play a bit of the devil's advocate, I'm conversant with the South African market, And what happens there is that every vehicle, do I say manufacturer or seller, is registered by the government. That's not what happens in Nigeria. So David can sell here, Thomas can sell here. So the advantage they have in South Africa is if you want to bring a Range Rover or a BMW, whether you used it, you want to acquire, it must be imported by the representative of that brand, OEM, and it must certify the car is okay. Now, coming to the Nigerian scenario, is there any attempt for us to now get a consolidated auto industry where every player is registered with a known brand? So that, for example, if I want to bring Changam, no matter whether it's used, I'm not stopped from bringing it, but I must go to Mikano and get a clearance that this car is okay to perform in Nigeria. If I want to bring a Mitsubishi, I must go to him, Otumba, and say, okay, give me an approval. And the government will only allow the car in with that approval. Nigeria is a bit so regulated. So I think, I don't know what the plans are. If we want to succeed, I think we need to start consolidating, because the import of that is that if I need a used car, I will go to the OEM, and it gives value to the used ones and also gives value to the entire ecosystem, because I must go to the OEM or the OEM's representative, because even to import, I have to go. So if you come to me, I say, oh, no, I have one in my garage that is better priced and better positioned. But when we have anybody who has money and the investment we're actually looking for is in the market, is already there, but it's scattered abroad. Too many. If you come from Lekki now, you will see like 400 or 500 people, different people selling different things. Some are stolen. That's why you can't find stolen cars in most countries, because nobody can import a car without clearing, and the duty is to clear. So is your council, are you doing something to consolidate, register the authorized representatives so that we speak with one voice? I think it would help us.
Thank you. Maybe I didn't address that when I was giving my address. We are already working on that, and we have gone far with it. But our own is not modeled after South Africa's. So what we have in the policy we have now is nobody will be able to bring into the country more than 2 vehicles in a year. If you must bring in more than 2 vehicles in a year, must be through assembler or recognized dealers. So we've engaged all the dealers, because we know one of the major setbacks we normally have in passing this bill is from this powerful association, AMDON. AMDON has over 55,000 members, and they are so powerful. We have to face the reality. So they sell used cars. And you know, when you are dealing with legislation, everybody can lobby. So the first thing we have to do was, I called them for meeting immediately I came in. And we've had series of meetings. We've brought them on board. They told us that they've wanted to have that meeting since 2015. But unfortunately, we couldn't have agreement with them. But since I came in, we've had series of meetings and we agreed. We've met their member in Lagos. We've met their members in Kano. We've met them in South-South. So we are going to meet them Southeast as well as Northeast to complete the engagement with them. And what we have agreed with them also is that in order to guarantee them that they are going to still be in markets, we allow them to be selling, to serve as distributor to major assemblers here in Nigeria, so that they can be distributor to Meccano, they can be distributor to north and all. But again, we are going to stop every Dick and Harry from bringing used vehicles to Nigeria. So it means every used vehicle that have to come must either come through the assembler or it's come through recognized armed member. And by the time we do, we are going to register all their members so that we'll be able to prune down that they are 55,000. Even they said 55,000 is what they know. And they also told us that they have more than 55,000, more than 50, that are not even known, that we just put for sale by the roadside. And when you buy from them today, you have issue tomorrow, nowhere to go to. So we've told them the only way for them to be able to be in business, for them to cooperate with us. Let's work together so that we pull down and then be able to have the actual number, register them, and allow them also to be part of the people that can bring in vehicle. So by the time these policies are gotten to a top level, that's top level approval. Immediately we are through with that approval, we are going to start implementation. But we have started the sensitization across the whole country. So with that, not everybody will be allowed. The fact that you have your money doesn't mean you'll be able to bring vehicles to Nigeria. We are going to stop substandard vehicles from coming in. We are going to stop stolen vehicles from coming in. We are going to stop scrap vehicles from coming in. By so doing, we'll be able to develop the second-hand market together. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I don't know if the panel has anything to say, any additions or on the topic.
Well, what the DG has just said now, honestly speaking, I know you need a lot of willpower to effect this, because as we are all aware, the purchasing power of vehicle, the customers at lowest ebb. For you to even acquire a locally built vehicle in Nigeria of today, honestly speaking, if you're looking at economic vehicle, you need to, have a minimum of 15 to 16 million naira. Mikano is here. You can confirm that. When we started with Suzuki, right, we saw all the Uber vehicles on the road now. When we started, we are bringing that in as a fully built. And the initial, price was between 3.9 and 4.2 million. But you cannot get that small vehicle now at, you can't, it's about 19, 20 million now. Because if you're looking at the effect of, the exchange rates and, price increment, from the manufacturer, yearly basis, you see that for a middle-level Nigerian to acquire, a vehicle, will take a special grace of God. When we wanted to start the Suzuki brand about 11, 12 years ago, I was in Côte d'Ivoire because they started before, Nigeria. I was there to understudy, the market. And you cannot imagine that all you require to get a Suzuki, vehicle is just 5%. Even in our showroom in Côte d'Ivoire, you have the finance and, the banking units of our partners within the showroom. And if you are coming in, you have your 5%, equity contribution. You are getting your pro forma invoice. Before you walk out of the showroom, you have the key to your car. That can never be that is not the case in Nigeria. Even at 30, 40%, it takes a whole lot. So I think for the common men or even the middlemen, all they rely on now is, the used vehicles. And I know Amdon is supposed to be part of LCCI. I'll tell you, they are not that organized to midwife, this scheme, because we've been having interactions, and in most cases we call them to meeting, and at the end of the day, if you're trying to profile, solution to some of the issues, we are having, they have their own business, to mind, so they've not been really, cooperating with us. So for them, I think we just need a policy, not, for us to rely on an association or, individual. Once we have the policy in place, I think other things, will fall in. When the auto policy was introduced, we had this idea from NADDC, because we sat down with them, and what they told us was that the 35% levy will be channeled towards automobile finance. I had an interaction with the NAJA, the automobile journalist. And from my own calculation, I think 2-3 years ago, I said that fund, should have reached about 185 million then. From our calculation, 85 billion. And now we are introducing a credit scheme whereby the government is pushing just 20 billion into, even if you are buying with 20 billion, I don't think you can acquire more than 120 units of a locally assembled vehicle. So we need to really be intentional on, what, we are doing. We need to put a whole lot of, seriousness into, this scheme. For us, we've not been having it easy with our investors. I know the president traveled to Japan the last time for TCAD, and it was in the news that, okay, the president will be meeting the president of a Toyota Motor Corporation, will be meeting with CFO. I'm not sure the meeting actually happened. So we had a roadmap to all these, to how Nigeria can come out of this doldrum. So what I'm appealing is that NADDC and the government, they should do more of, collaboration with, manufacturer representatives in Nigeria. It won't be nice for maybe the representative of the government. You are going to our principals abroad, and we that are representing them in Nigeria are not even aware. And the moment they get your invitation, they call us that, okay, what is it with NADDC? What is it with the government? Then what they will be presenting to you in most cases will come from us. And our government are not even talking to us on, I think if we're able to really collaborate, your journey to Japan or wherever you are meeting the OEM or the manufacturer, will be very easy. And the foreign investors, will take us, more seriously. Thank you.
Abdulkadir, do you want to say anything?
I think I'll just add a few points based on what my fellow stakeholder here just mentioned. I would say that in regards to whatever policy we're trying to introduce, it's key to learn from maybe past mistakes. For example, when we did the initial NAIDP policy of when it was 35% duty and 35% levy for CBUs, one key thing that happened in the market, which I'm sure we're all aware of, is when people didn't want to pay that 70%, they would bring it to neighboring countries and smuggle it through our borders into the country. So it didn't actually stop the cars from coming in. It just made people find different routes to bring it in. So again, the key thing is just for us to be intentional, have all stakeholders involved from private sector, government, have everybody in the room to try to finalize, okay, what is the best approach for us to take that would keep investor confidence, and push our industry forward. And by pushing the industry forward, provide more jobs for the economy, push the economy forward. So I think that's the only point I would add to that. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Rome was not built in a day. My personal thought, 2023 to 2033 may be too short to achieve so many things. One of the issues of doing business in Nigeria is the cost of funds. With NPR hovering between 18% to 31% at times, even if we assume a flat 20%, it means that if you took a car on lease at 100 million or even 100 naira, at the end of your lease, you would have paid 180 million. That visual picture frightens people from leasing cars. Why should I pay? I'm just playing the devil's advocate. I'm just saying we also need to look at the entire economy with high interest rates. These interest rates are possible in nations where you have single digits. So it makes sense. At most you pay 50%, but in these climes, yeah, it's difficult. I would like to call to the one of the guests, Alaji, a representative of Alaji Bashir Adewale Adeniyi, who is the Controller General of Customs, is represented by the Assistant Controller, Leima Oluwakemi. Please come up, madam. You're welcome. Please, if anybody in the audience has any questions, either you come up or you send me a paper so that we can. Huh? Okay, have the questions written down and give it to our able MC so that I'll read them out for you. Okay. The Controller General, please, you're free to make. You familiar with our topic, the impact of the non-passage of the NAIDP policy into law to the automobile industry. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Okay, yes, it's afternoon. Good afternoon. I hope you can all hear me. I would stand on the existing protocols, and I would also apologize for the arrival, my not very early arrival. Let me not use late. So on the issue at hand, I heard my co-panelists talking about the cost of bringing these cars in, and the service is working, and I know it sounds like what's it now? It almost sounds like I'm doing PR and propaganda, but I promise I'm not. So there are things that we're doing. We're gatekeeping. We're working on. We have the policy of 15 years. Any cars older than 15 years are not allowed. Okay, so I'm sure you know all of this. So basically, we have certain challenges, though, the fact that it's not in law. So certain things change from time to time, and things change. So we enforce, and we advise, we collaborate, which is what we're doing. So we have, where I can tell you the things that were the new things that we're doing. We're working with the NADDC and the NARP. We're trying to create a system where everything is registered, whether imported, whether new, so that there's less emission, or there are registered cars that are in the system. So we're working extensively. The CG is working extensively. He sends his regards on the, he sends his regards. I'm so sorry. I didn't come in very early, so I feel like hold on. Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Yes. The first question is for you, Mr. DG. It says, sir, you spoke about amendment to the policy. How soon? Is it possible before the end of the year?
Sorry, I have to be practical. It will not be possible before the end of the year. We are working on it, but I can assure you that we get to National Assembly before the end of the year. So when we get to National Assembly, then the second phase of the journey will start to push as much as we can from the National Assembly. But I don't see them passing it within 1 month.
Okay, thank you. I hope that answers your question. The second question, I don't know who wrote it. So I should go ahead and read the second question because I don't know who will answer it either. Now I know who wrote it. I don't know who will answer it. But the question goes to us. Are CEOs of Nigerian auto companies exempted from attending events of this nature where the future of their business are discussed? So I don't know who will answer that. That's why I was asking who will answer it. Yeah, no. The next question is, can the custom rep, I can see this.
Can the custom representative throw more light on the recent 4% change? No, that is not clear, but on FOB and the current status regarding its suspension. Yes, I think so. We have an idea.
I know what it's talking. The additional 4% that is causing issues in the industry.
Okay, so that's the FCS, and the CGC Controller General Adewale Apache, he said he actually had a meeting with the man, and they've come to a conclusion. They're suspending the FCS for manufacturers. So it's members of the Manufacturers Association. I actually do have the I was just looking at it. I knew you were going to ask me. I knew you were going to ask me. So we actually the suspension should happen if it didn't come into effect for raw materials. So the sector understands that it is a burden on manufacturers, cost of doing business and all of that. So it's going to be suspended for I don't want to quote, but then I know it says the Manufacturers Association came to I'm sorry, I'm nervous. I've not spoken to non-officers in a while. So let me start from the beginning. If you know, I don't know if you know about Chapter 98 and Chapter 99. The Manufacturers Association came and they worked together and created Chapter 98 and Chapter 99 to make things easier for manufacturers. Mr. CFAO, you know about. So now the FCS is applied to everybody. Now, Manufacturers Association, the CG called them and they sat together. And now it's going to be suspended on the beneficiary. It's going to be suspended for the beneficiaries of Chapter 98 and Chapter 99. But pending when that is effected in the system, he has given concession that they carry their items on pre-release. In person will understand what I've said. So I hope that answers the question. Does that answer the question? All right.
I think it does. Okay. Okay. Next. Yes. The next question is directed at the DG of NAIDP. All the conversations have been about manufacturing of vehicles but we seem to have forgotten about the after-sales component. What effort is being made to address the influx of substandard spare parts in the country, which permits the industry and affects the worthiness of the vehicles?
We talk about component part development. The component part the first area, the first segment they are going to service is after sales, even before the OEMs. So they are going to service the after sales. We are working with them to standardize those products. This is when we do that, we then have enough of those parts within the system that we can stop the one coming in. But having said this, those part manufacturers that already complained to us about fake materials, we've taken them up. There was a time we got from, was it Bosch? They complained about fake material. We wrote to SON, we wrote to Custom, we wrote to Custom reply us, and they told us what they are doing about it. SON reply us also, and we wrote even to police. So we wrote to all the stakeholders, and we were working. Whenever we identify those kind of fake materials, we work on them. But the major step we are taking has to be policy step, and that is to make sure we complete our test centers. And then after the completion of test center, we'll be able to ensure that SON and Custom do the certification. It's SON that will do the certification. And after the certification has been done, then Custom will help us implement those ones when they are coming in from the port. Thank you.
Okay, we'll move straight to the next question. Is our automotive policy in alignment with the Afri-Exempt Bank's automotive policy? How are we positioning ourselves to unlock the funds from Afri-Exempt Bank for the automotive industry? Other African countries are already tapping into these funds.
Yes, it's aligned our own policy with theirs, and then we are always in discussion. They are part of the team working on NAIDP Auto Hub. That is the hub you have in NAIDP Auto Park. So we align together. We are working together.
The next one is, you talked about the EV. I was at the Unilag EV recharge station. It is not working because the Unilag EV buses are not, is it clarified? They are not cleared. Yeah. The EV buses are not rechargeable. No, I don't understand. They are not recharged. Okay.
Okay. The EV, let me clarify. Unilag had some of their old students who promised to provide electric buses to the school. And those old students brought in 2 buses so that they can be using it as to test run. So we are not part of what happened with those 2 buses. But for us, we've donated a charging station with an Hyundai Kona, also from Hyundai Nigeria here, which they use in that particular charging station. And that one is working. It's working there in the Unilag. They are using the charging station Unilag to charge it. Now, number 2, I don't know the type of buses those guys brought in. I don't know whether those ones are compatible with the charging standard, are compatible with the charging standard we have in Unilag. However, if they bring in vehicle, they must be able to bring in the kind of nozzle they are going to use to charge it. So I won't be able to speak on what happened to their bus, which was brought in without our involvement.
Okay, thank you. I just will need to go because of time, so I wanted to ask the panelists any quick last words, 1 minute, 2 minutes, if you have anything to say for them. We can't take more questions, maybe in another session. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I wanted to ask, is it possible for me to answer a question too that we skipped?
Okay, go ahead quickly.
So regarding the question, are CEOs exempt from panels like this? I just want to point out that based on the people you see on the stage, to my left, you have an industry titan, DMD, CFAO. Everyone in this room knows, a key opinion leader in our industry. Our moderator, sales and after sales, that has been an industry for long. I do believe I have a view of possibly the future of Nigeria. So the youth, we should also have a voice in terms of what should happen,
Agreed.
how policy should be shaped in this country. So are CEOs exempt from panels like this? No, they are not. But the panelists that you see here today, the moderator that you see here today, they are the key opinion leaders in our industry, and their perspective and what they have to share is probably more important than what the CEOs have to say, because what they say eventually is what the CEOs will share with you. So I just wanted to clarify that aspect.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Otumba, you don't have any?
Yeah, I mean, we are Nigerians. It's not that about discriminating. What we can say freely here, I mean, the expatriates, honestly speaking, they'll be scared to even say it as it is. I met the DG of NADDC, and I know we are still going to have other engagement. For CFAO, we represent 9 automobile manufacturers in Nigeria, and we have the largest distribution network in Africa. And for us, it's so painful that Nigeria is here to really get it right when it comes to this automotive policy. I remember when Ghana was even, trying to put their policy in place. They took our policy and they summarized it. And within 9-10 months, I mean, saw Nissan, Suzuki, and some other, even Toyota, I mean, starting, serious business with them in Ghana. When this policy was introduced, a lot of laws, was some of us, what we complain about was that there was no level playing ground, because I mentioned it that the minister made a pronouncement, and a company, one of the automotive giants in Nigeria, opened for men for 14,000 units of vehicles. I mean, within a week. And we looked at their historical record. We discovered that even in 6 years, I mean, they didn't sell up to 10,000 units, meaning they had prior information on the policy. So they tried to, take advantage. So, for us, I think this thing needs a very serious planning. And at the stage that we are today, I think it would be nice for us to, get it right. Like the DJ, have said, we're looking forward to the very quick passage, of, the bill into law, because we have our landlords too, the National Assembly. There are another, landlords when it comes to, because everybody has his interest in this country. And when it comes to, passage of law, I mean, we knew what we went through when we were even trying to push the initial, bill. So I just hope the DG, will have the political will to see this through. And this will really transform Nigeria. We're talking about 4.23% GDP now. The automotive sector alone, can, double this. If you're able to get, this right, we're looking at, forest reserve. This could, catapult, reserve earnings, and also, create a lot of, jobs. So not what we are doing now. Like I said, we need to be intentional and be serious about this. I challenge the NAJA members, the journalists too, that they have a lot of things, to do. This morning when I came in, I was talking to, the president of the Automobile Journalists Association in Africa. That, you can imagine what happened in Abuja yesterday, what happened with Prime Times. The story that they were able to, bring up that led to, some sort of, cleansing at, the presidency. That for them too, they should dig deep and come up with, information on the real, practitioners of, this assembly thing. A whole lot of us, are not playing the game, by the books. And this is giving, the sector, a bad name. So I think the best thing now is for us to, get it right, have this, policy in play. It's been policy framework. Let's go into, authentic legislation so that the foreign investors can take us, to be a serious country. And that will definitely catapult, this industry to greatness. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Gigi, do you want to say anything? Or can I just wind up? Do you want to say something? Just briefly so that we do.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your interest in this sector. We all agree that this is a very important sector for the economy. I was talking to someone in Japan the other time, that is the chairman of Asia Economic Committee, and he said, if we get the auto sector right, then it will be well with the economy, because the economy can stimulate every other sector. And we've started discussing with every other sector. I was with the MD of Ajaokuta to know what they are doing. I've started discussing with some people in the Ministry of Mine, because we know that all this area can really affect what we are doing in auto. And when we get the auto right, this sector can also benefit from whatever is happening in auto. So we encourage all of us, let's collaborate, let's work together, let's continue to push for patronage of locally assembled vehicles. I've mentioned the Custom was not here when I mentioned about what Custom is doing in supporting the local assembler by patronizing the local assemblers. So we are working on that. And everything you mentioned, we had discussion about this also. Before now, we are discussing with all the assemblers, with stakeholders, because we want to learn from what the stakeholders are doing. We want to know what they are doing, how we can come in to help. He mentioned something about what the law says about the contribution to support credit scheme. That was why I mentioned the other time that credit scheme is a major aspect. But again, if we get the legislation, we'll be able to enforce some of these aspects of the contribution or revenue to support the system, to support the sector. Thank you for your interest.
Thank you. Madam, you said you want to say something.
One of the things I was going to mention, the DG has mentioned that Customs is actually intensely supporting. We're starting this year, we started purchasing our cars locally made. And then we're in 2022, we set up a VIN valuation, a vehicle valuation system automation that pegs the cost of any used vehicles that are being brought in. So the reason we've done that is to make sure is to basically discourage the importation of used cars, especially the older models. Older models tend to have more emission, and then they are in the end worse for the environment. So that's one of the things the service is doing. At the same time, we're collaborating with NAIDP, with MAN, and making sure that it's easier for the manufacturers to bring things in is cheaper. For example, they have their own rates of duty. CKD, completely knocked down, ranges from 0 to 10%. While when you're bringing in a fully built unit, you're looking at levies that are up to 35%. So those are some of the things that the CG has put in place to make sure that it is easier for manufacturers, and then we're intensely and actively discouraging the importation of the older cars. There's cars older than 15 years are prohibited. And then we're also working on making sure that we're getting certificates of roadworthiness or standards from the exporting country before a car will be allowed into the country. So these are some of the things that we've put in place and we're actively supporting.
Okay. I just want to say thank you to everybody for listening. Mr. DJ. Final advice, we need to create the value chain. One company should make batteries for all the cars. That will make it profitable. Anna and Pojo. Anna and Volkswagen got their batteries, their glasses from Better Glass, the screens from Better Glass. So it's a big, huge work, which will make haste slowly, or we'll lose everything we've started. We must make haste slowly. So if we build from the bottom up, it will stand, because if, for example, if Geely will make his own, we don't even make tires anymore. So to get the real value of what we are discussing, we need to go back to the chain. That's when we can chop off maybe $15 billion a year from our bills, because everything is done locally and will create jobs. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Mr. Moderator. I think we can go back to our seats.
Yeah. Before you go back to your seat, I'd like to thank you so much for moderating this session, even though I was on your neck. I want to assume I wasn't pressing your neck beyond what I should do. On that note, thank you so much for doing a good job. We have a little presentation for our panelists. So I like Bingpe, please, let's have the plaques as I bring up stage the president and chairman of council to do us the honor of making this business. Mr. President, sir. Let's put hands together for the president. Okay. Mr. Chair, sir, Dr. Femi, the president would like you to join him, so he doesn't want to do it alone. I tell you, that our president is really a father. Yes, that's fine. Yeah, first on the list, Mr. President, is Chief Otumba Oluwemimo Osapini. Let's put hands together for Otumba, please. Thank you, sir. Next is Otumba Adekunle Jaesimi. Mr. President, sir. The immediate past chair of the group, yes. Yes, Executive Director, Mikano Limited, Mikano Motors Nigeria, ably represented by our brother. Yeah, he was talking about young Nigeria. Like we are. Yes, thank you, sir. For the Controller General of the Custom, ably represented here by the Assistant Controller, Lima Oluwakemi. Let's put them together for Lima, please. So all the panelists will now have a single photograph with the president. Mr. President, sir. Yes, this way. Yes. Yes, please, sir. I was going to bring a more powerful picture. Mr. This, thank you so much. Much. But the microphone is telling me to keep short. I will not agree. Please help me change some of the batteries for the microphone. Please, Mason and your team. Thank you. All right. As earlier announced, we had a little delay for one of our guest speakers. I'm told he was head up somewhere in traffic, so we'd like to have him. But first of all, let me recognize the presence of the GM Mobility Mandela's Group Limited, Mr. Daisy Omidiji. I'm sure he's here. Mr. Omidiji, thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. So we'd like to quickly take this before we take some messages from our sponsors. We would like to have the chair of the Association of Local Content Manufacturer of Nigeria, Chief Anslem Ilekumba. Let's put down together for Ilekumba for his presentation. Let's clap for him, please.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, the topic of today, the impact of non-passage of NAIDP policy into law, represents what happened to me this morning when I left my house about 10 minutes to 8. I left VGC. For me to just go straight along Lake Expressway, I decided to come faster by going through the new coastal road, not knowing that the road was blocked. So we started scrambling to come out, and we met the chaos that the automotive industry is meeting for non-passage of NAIDP into law. When things are done the way they should be, it makes things very easy and result-oriented. Before I continue, this is a way of saying, giving up my apology for being late without making excuses. Mr. President and the chair of the Council of Lagos Chamber of Commerce, and every other protocol duly observed because we have gone far. I am the national coordinator for local content manufacturers. And local content manufacturing is the engine room of automotive assembly and automotive industry development in Nigeria. What we have done, or what the bill has proposed has done, is to give us an inside-out developmental program that will make Nigeria the true giant and hub of automotive distribution. I don't need to start explaining what the bill is, or what the NAIDP is. Sorry. Okay. Okay. So building Nigeria from inside out the local content imperative. When we talk about the local content, we're talking about the component parts that make up the building block of automotive industry. In the past few years, I personally was involved in the scramble to bring a CKD manufacturing plant into Nigeria. The very reason why we lost out in that race was because we don't have in Nigeria enough percentage of local content that can be mobilized to make it happen. And what happened? We lost that to Egypt. They launched the plant 2 years ago, and the impact in their economy cannot be overemphasized. So when we talk about the building block, if we don't get the building block right, the foundation is what we're discussing. There is no way we're going to get it right. The NAIDP promises and versus the reality of what we have on ground. The investment and its capacity, as projected, is about $1 billion investment. But what do we have today? What we have today is people that invested, and those investments could no longer move forward because there is no existing law. Today, what we have gathered here to do is to add our voice to this advocacy, to let government see the need to make this policy into law. We are talking about OEM. About sometime before end of last year, Bosch came, Volkswagen was here, Ford brought very big representative. All of us went to the villa. We made presentations. We spoke to government. The chief of staff was there. We were told how passionate this our sitting president is. But we have seen the implementation committee set, but what we need basically is the law. If we have this law, it is going to help us to move further to have the necessary impact, which the non-passage is actually mitigating against. First of all, exposure to policy somersault. That is one of the biggest problems we have. Luckily for us today, we have a president that is actually very interested. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is interested in making the automotive industry work. But what we need is we need to put our voice together. We need to do more. I listened when the panelists were talking, and when they were talking to Naja. Naja is doing their best, but we need to produce the content with which Naja will do what? We push. So if we don't do that as industry players, we are doing what? We are wasting our time. The vulnerability of policies of fiscal incentives. The fiscal incentives are there, but nothing can be done if we don't have the law. The representative of the CG has told us here the effort the custom is making, but it's not customs duty. Custom is only there to implement. Of course, all of us listen to this 4% issue we're talking about. When that 4% came up, there was a directive to custom to suspend it. But why it was not possible for custom to just wake up and suspend it is because it's an act of National Assembly. So if we struggle, put our house together and fight and get this passed into law, all this issue of suspending from 35% to 10% or scrapping off or one minister writing one letter to suspend whatever everybody has planned will come to pass. So what we need to do is to continue to advocate. The the intellectual properties, if this law is passed, it is going to be guaranteed. And if it is guaranteed, it will give confidence to the bigger OEM to come and partner with the building block of what we have here. And that is when we will see effective development. And this technology transfer we're talking about is going to be a natural thing. It's not something we can do on our own. Automobile manufacturing is not like building a pure water factory. We need the big boys. We need the big technology. And the world is evolving very fast. If we don't start early, the world will do what? Will leave us behind. Let all of us join and say, let this bill be passed into law. There are lots of policy recommendations which the panelists have broken into pieces in the course of their discussion. That is why I am prioritizing what I say and what I dwell on so that I don't waste so much of our time. What we need is, the DG was talking about what he's thinking and what they are doing with the other associations to curb the influx of used vehicles. What I want to tell ourselves is that we are the stakeholders seated in this room. Whenever we gather, it is important to discuss the problem so that we can face and sort out the solutions. But let us also be positive. You see, people can actually buy brand new vehicles. Nigerians are drinking one bottle of wine for 6 million naira. They can. What we need to do is to believe we also can and make the laws that will help us strengthen our own sector. There are used vehicles that are being sold for 55 million. Lots of them. How much is the Uber Corolla in the market? So we will be able to, if we have this law, better correlation. I saw the CFAO, I saw Mikano. We have wonderful people that are passionate to make automotive industry work in Nigeria. We have our own Innocent that out of nothing, he is struggling and he is fighting. In the area of component, he has an existing tire factory that requires little incentive for him to start to shun out. The same way with other brands in the country. We need to pass this bill into law so that incentives in terms of better credit, incentives in terms of better policies can be assured, not the type that somebody will go and import vehicle before you come into import CKD. Before you come into Nigeria, the fully built will be reduced. We were all here when the past administration of late President Muhammad Buhari, they just woke up one morning and said they were bringing down the duty on buses and pickups. And that killed the little gap between the SKDs and the CK and the fully built. That is what we're talking about, some sort of policies. So the jobs must be created. If we have our component part factories working, we will be able to say that we are going to reduce our foreign exchange from being pushed away, because it is only when we start making components, then we'll start going further to look for the local components we can use to make those components. That is when we will know that we have started making progress. So in conclusion, the time for us to make argument has passed. The time for debate has also passed. What we are in now is the advocacy for us to do what? Let us start today and say, give us the bill and we will give you the industries. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Chief. Please, let's put hands together for Chief Anselm once again. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. He has perfectly read the room and he went directly to what he considered very germane, important in his notes. Thank you so much, sir, for doing us that favor. So we'd like to just take quick presentation. I think we should be able to do that in, okay, here on the list, I have it for 5 minutes. Okay, I believe it can be done in 5 minutes. We have the first presentation from Meccano, who is one of our main sponsors. So put your hands together for my brother, the representative of the MD of Meccano, Abdul Kadri, as he makes his sponsor's presentation or speech. Let's put our hands together for him, please. Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon once again. Good afternoon, distinguished guests, leaders of industry, and fellow stakeholders. Once again, my name is Siam Abdul Qadir. I am the National Operations Manager at Meccano Motors, and it is an honor to speak to you here today at a topic that defines not just our industry, but the direction of our nation's economic future. For more than 3 decades, Meccano has stood as a symbol of industrial capacity and private sector commitment to Nigeria. Since 1993, we have established power generation, steel fabrication, construction, and now we have our own vehicle assembly line as well. Through Meccano Motors, we have invested heavily in modern assembly facilities, local workforce training, and partnerships with leading global OEMs with only one focus: to assemble and distribute vehicles locally, ensuring that value is created and retained within Nigeria. But industrial growth cannot thrive in isolation. It requires policy consistency, clarity in our regulations, and a national framework that aligns private investment with public intent. This is where the National Automotive Industry Development Plan comes in. The NAIDP, first introduced in 2013, was a bold and visionary step. It was designed to encourage local assembly, attract OEM investment, and create jobs through SKD and CKD incentives. The initiative worked initially. Companies set up assembly lines, Nigerians gained employment, and the company began to position itself as a manufacturing hub for West Africa. However, as we all know, the policy never achieved full legislative backing, and with subsequent fiscal revisions, especially the 2020 Finance Act, the tariff differentials that supported local assemblies were weakened. What was once a structured path to industrialization became uncertain, discouraging investment and causing some local assemblers to scale down. Today, nearly a decade later, a revised NAIDP policy presents us with a second chance to rebuild confidence, to restore competitiveness, and to attract the right kind of investment. This time, we must ensure that it is not just a policy, but a legally backed framework that outlives political cycles. From our perspective at Meccano Motors, the road to success lies in balance. Of course, we need to support SKD and CKD assemblers through clear duty and levy structures. We need to encourage OEM partnerships that transfer technology and build local competence. Ensure affordability so that Nigerians are not priced out of local assembled vehicles. And to avoid the mistakes of the past when the high tariffs pushed consumers towards smuggled vehicles and other routes. We in Nigeria, we do not lack ambition. What we need is alignment between government policy, industry execution, and consumer interest. If we get that right, the automotive sector can become one of Nigeria's largest non-oil contributors to the GDP, generating jobs, skills, and pride. At Meccano Motors, we stand ready with infrastructure, expertise, and partnerships to help actualize this vision. What we need is the consistency of policy to match the consistency of our investment. Let us make this decade when Nigerian assembled vehicles dominate our roads through innovation and shared national purpose. Thank you.
Okay. Please keep my microphone working, please. I beg you. So, with the sponsor presentation or speech, we'd like to go to the second sponsor for his own presentation, and had earlier mentioned that we had with us in-house the GM Mobility Mandilas Group Limited. Please put your hands together for Mr. Daisy Omidiji for this 5-minute presentation. Put your hands together for him, please. Let's clap for him.
They nod, then poke around like it's trial and error. The result? Endless trips to the workshop. We've all been there. But what if you had a trusted partner who gets it right the first time? Imagine having access to expert diagnostics, authentic spare parts, and service that actually solves the problem. That's exactly what Mandilas Mobility offers. Trusted maintenance, done right.
Good afternoon, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Permit me to stand on existing protocols. My name is Daisy Omidiji. I have all of 5 minutes to speak to us about Mandilas and our participation in the automobile industry. As many of us may be aware of, Mandilas is a household name in Nigeria, having been in existence for 75 years this year. Thank you. Let's celebrate one of the most resilient indigenous organizations in this country. 75 years of business success in Nigeria is not a joke. We came into existence in 1950, and we have been everything there is to be in the automobile industry. Distributor, dealer, repairer, maintainer, seller. We've cut across every sphere of the automobile industry in this country. Some of us may know that Volkswagen was a partnership between Mandilas, the federal government of Nigeria, and the government of Germany. One of the eminent speakers earlier said, batteries, glass from Beta glass, Exile battery was what we had in the PAN vehicles. I would just like to add that the air conditioners in your Peugeot, in your Volkswagen, actually came from Mandilas. Yes, thank you, sir. From Carrier, the franchise singularly owned in Nigeria by Mandilas, operated through one of our fully owned subsidiaries, Norman Industries. So we have been, and we are still, pioneers in the automobile industry, in the air conditioning industry. But I would like to, in the remaining 2 minutes that I have, just take us through something that is top of the mind for us in Mandilas today, which is a byproduct of automobile leasing and fleet management. we see this as a value-added business. It is easier to sell a vehicle. Everybody can sell a vehicle. But you may want to use a vehicle. You may want to own a vehicle, but your cash flow does not support purchase because, you know, in Nigeria, everything is cash and carry. But we offer this opportunity for you to own the assets, use the assets, and we finance it. We deploy the assets to you. You can have it for 5 years. You can have it for 4 years. And you only pay us on a monthly basis. It doesn't stop at us providing you with the assets. We also help you to maintain it. We have the full maintenance option. We maintain completely for you. We change your tires when they're due. We, if you like, we can fuel. We can provide drivers. You know, we take the entire burden of automobile management of you, right from purchase to maintenance to deployment in any area of Nigeria. One of our biggest strengths is our reach, is our coverage. Apart from the pedigree that comes from 75 years of experience, one of our other strengths is our coverage. We're in 9 locations across Nigeria as at now, and we're still extending. So Nigeria, Mandela sells peace of mind. That's what we sell to you. That's what we bring to you through our lease products. You can rely on us to provide you full maintenance service. And if you choose to maintain by yourself, we can provide you just the assets. I would just like to round up by what we call our service excellence elements in Mandela's. Customer service excellence. Mandela's is an award-winning customer service organization. So we don't just sell, we don't just give you that asset, we don't just lease it to you, we provide you with customer service that gives you comfort, anything you like as you want it. We practice our business through sustainable elements, and we continuously look at ways to do what we do better and better. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Please put your hands together for our brother, Manilas. Please put your hands together for him once again. I'd like to announce to Manilas and Mikano Motors that I have the approval of the Director General of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry to place your advert in our 2026 annual calendar at a very discount rate for supporting us. That I need you to take home is a great privilege. And please put your hands together for my Director General who has graciously approved that request. I actually went to her that these 2 companies sponsoring us, one of them is 75 years old, and we are 137 years old. And you can see the connection. And right away, the DG said I should announce that she had given approval. I will discuss the details with us one-on-one pretty later. But once again, please clap for my Director General for being generous. Thank you. Thank you. We have, I got this card late. I should have done this much earlier, but we have with us the MD/CEO of New Era Auto Vehicle Service Limited. Join your hands together for Kemi Koyejo. Is she still in house? Yes. Thank you, ma. Thank you. Please pardon me. I got your card a bit late. Thank you. All right. We like to, as part of especially recognizing these are sponsors. I told you the DG has done so much, and she's still doing much, and of this determination to make you more happy. We have this presentation to give to the these are sponsors. We have one for as a mark of extension, the DG has also asked that she will make this presentation together with the president to be assisted by the chair of the group. Please, Madam DG, sir, ma, and Mr. President, with the assistance of the chair, you like to make the presentation for the two companies you have granted automatic discounts for them to be, for the adverts to be in the 2026 annual calendar of the chamber. I will give you benefit of why you should keep thanking DG for the next 1 year for giving you that privilege. Thank you so much, Madam DG. Please give me the first one. Thank you. Mikano Motors, put your hands together for Mr. Daisy Omidiji, please. Okay, Mikano, sorry. My head is locked down to Daisy. Thank you. Thank you, ma. Thank you.
Actually, before the presentation, just to particularly put on record the very significant support that we get from Meccano. There are many ways that Meccano works with us in LCCI and supports us. So we want to thank you beyond this plaque to say LCCI truly appreciates the kind of partnership in various dimensions that we have with Meccano. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Mandilas Group Limited, put your hands together for Mandilas, please.
Mandilas, again, thank you, Mandilas. Mandilas was a major sponsor of the Lagos International Trade Fair last year. We hope you will keep to it. There are some brands that give additional value to the relationship, and which the MC mentioned. When very old institutions like Mandilas work with LCCI, we feel we should support that resilience, the evidence of institutions that have stayed in Nigeria for a long time. Because all of you here know it's not easy to do business in Nigeria. So if you do business in 75 years in Nigeria, still standing, we want to encourage and recognize it, in addition to the support that you continue to give us. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Under Automobile Western African Limited, representative, please, let's come forward for your, let's put hands together for him.
Thank you, Honda. Again, because we are an old institution, we tend to have a lot of history, knowledge of history. Honda was well known to be a Japanese company, but it was one of the first Japanese companies to set up an auto factory in Nigeria. And we seem to have a little bit of that history because they had come to Nigeria for the first time during one of the old trade fairs. And the people who came said they actually didn't know much about Nigeria until that time, but they didn't know that Nigeria was a big country, that it was such population and size that far away in Japan, they just didn't know whether Nigeria was a tiny little country or was a very large country. So from that first visit, they started developing interest in Nigeria, and that led to your factory there. So I want to thank you, Honda, that we are part of the history, and we are happy to see that you are still supporting us.
Thank you so much. Next is the RT Briscoe Nigeria PSC. Do we have them here, representative? Please, let's come up for your presentation, please.
Well, thank you. It was a family matter, so there was a little bit of confusion because the chairman of the group, the MD of RT Briscoe, and we're looking for RT Briscoe representative to take this. And really and truly, that's the beauty of this event. Audrey Briscoe, I was telling Deputy MD, is one of the oldest names in this business. No matter how, for most people who are a bit on the over a certain age in Nigeria, you probably still remember Audrey Briscoe with various brands, Volvo, all various brands in the history of Nigeria. And so Audrey Briscoe, we want to thank you, not just for supporting this, but remaining standing in Nigeria among the LCCIs of this world, all through the ups and downs. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We have next Toyota Nigeria Limited. Do we have their representative in-house? All right, thank you. Last but not the least, Chief Anselm Ilekumba. Please put your hands together for him as one of our guest speakers today.
Chief, I want to say we are really happy you made it in spite of traffic. In all these conversations, there are the souls of an industry. These are the content, the local content, the parts. The people in the business tell us that there is no company in this world that actually manufactures the car in terms of building everything. The best is perhaps they do the engine. Then everything else are local content providers around the world, not even in their own country. So when you say it's an American car, you know, local content people like Chief here around the world contribute. So you are the real champions of our auto industry if it evolves and becomes what it is. So we want to recognize and support you. And we are very, very, very anxious not just to have this passed for the benefit of particularly local content, but to ensure that we begin to be exporters of local content and materials to Africa. So I welcome you and thank you for coming.
Thank you so much. The final photos, we like, Chief, please hold on. We like other sponsors that have received an award. Please come in. Let's have a group photograph with the president and the chair, as well as the director general of the chamber. Please, you can come in with your plaques, please. That will make it very beautiful. Thank you. Mikano, thank you so much. Mandelas, I know you're on your way. Thank you. RT, Onda, thank you. Elijah, please, let's hold on. I'll call you in for the photo, man. I'll call you in, man. I'll call you. We just. So let's have it this way. Mandela, please move to the president. Francis, please go ahead, please. Thank you so much. Francis, please come back. Let's have the repeat of the photo for a purpose that we want it for. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. President. You can, please, let's get back to Avero. Thank you so much. Thank you. As we draw the curtain for this event, as we come to a close, I like to have, for a vote of thanks, you discover on your order of program. Wishes. Okay, as I didn't see the award plaque, I thought it's been done. Please, let's have recognition and the plaque presentation to the immediate past chairman of the group, Otumba Adekunle Jaisimi. This is what is next. Mr. President, I'm sorry, sir. And the current chair, as well as my able DG. Mr. Chairman, sir. Mr. Chair, Dr. Femi, I need you here for a minute with the president. I'm sorry I'm disturbing you up and down. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please, let's put our hands together for the immediate past chair, Mr. Adekunle Jaisimi, to take the plaques and the special recognition. Please put your hands together for him, please. Thank you, sir.
Okay, I just had the opportunity to say what I wanted to say with Otumba Jaisimi privately and what I hinted at the beginning of the event. One of the best attributes or key success factor or performance indicator is a leader who produces another leader of his caliber or even better. So it was a great pleasure for me to see your successor at the meeting a few days ago. And I was so happy. I was so happy for the few moments of his conversation, that you chose someone who was of your own caliber and who will lead this sector with the kind of leadership that it really needs. So I want to thank you for doing that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Francis? Thank you. Mr. President, just the last one. I'm told there are plenty of his friends who want to have a picture with him, with you. Please, can we have them, please? Okay, DG, sir. The immediate past chair wants you to be in the photo. Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. Mr. President, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. For the closing remarks and a vote of thanks, the immediate past chair, who is supposed to handle this vote of thanks, had said graciously that we should ask Mr. Abiona Babarinde, the GM Marketing and Communication Cosaris Group, to do the vote of thanks. Put your hands together for Mr. Abiona Babarinde for the vote of thanks. Mr. Abiona, sir.
Thank you, Mr. MC. Good afternoon, distinguished ladies and gentlemen here. My role is very simple, and the role is to say thank you to everyone. But because of protocols, I will have to mention some names. So ahead, pardon me, I have a list if your name is not mentioned, but you can take it for granted that you are appreciated for this wonderful program for us as stakeholders. I will have to thank the chief host, and that is the president of the chambers in person of Mr. Gabriel Ida Osa, FCA. Can we give him a wonderful round of applause? Thank you so much. Kemi, I will send an invoice for not allowing the president to acknowledge our word of thanks. Oh, you are still there. Do I have to take? Kemi, we are waiting for you. Yes, to say thank you to you for distracting the president. Don't worry, you can always come back. We just want to do this quickly. Also, I have the honor to appreciate this wonderful man who is a regulator in terms of anything local. He's the chief local assembler representing the federal government. Please appreciate the Director General, the National Automotive Design and Development Council. As at last time I heard his name, it was just Mr. Oluwemimo Osadnikpin. Now he is an Otumba. So please join me to thank Chief Otumba Oluwemimo Osadnikpin, the DG, NADDC. Thank you so much. DG, you need to tell the audience that Costaris was not physically identified as a sponsor, but something sponsored the DG for his local logistics. I won't say more than that. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed that story. All right, thank you. So I want to also quickly recognize one of the guest speakers in person of Chief Anslem Ikeluba, the Chairman, Association of Local Content Manufacturers of Nigeria. Thank you so much, sir, for coming. I also want to quickly recognize our own chair. That is the chairman of our section of the LCCI in person of Dr. Femi Egukade. Thank you so much, Doc, our chair. And congrats for this. It's a starting point. Also, I need to recognize all the sponsors so that it won't look as if, oh, because Costaris is standing there, he's not recognizing. We are all winners. From Meccano to Mandela's, all the sponsors, you have been recognized. I'm also saying thank you to you for making this happen. And I also want to recognize and thank the Custom Controller General, ably represented by an assistant controller in person of Mrs. Oluwakemi Namai. Thank you so much, ma'am. Don't mind us. All our topics are directed at your agency. And I'm sure after today, you also become born again. It's all about the 4%. Thank you, Madam Custom. And also, I have on my list here, okay, I'm to also recognize my colleague and one of our director in charge of one of our brands in Costaris and after sales as the anchor person for the session in person of Mr. Ufoma Umukoro. Thank you, Ufoma. So you can see that indirectly, Costaris has sponsored this event. Except if I also leave this podium and I can send my invoice. Then one of our very critical stakeholders when it comes to the automotive business, and we've heard from the session that all these that we're talking about and that particular group, oh, they are the one, they are our mouthpiece. They're our own local BBC. They're our own local CNN. Okay? And you know the people I'm talking about. These are our very able, loyal, supportive. We need more support. The media partners. And I can put it under the canopy of Niger. Aha. You can see, I can see the chair there. Theodore Opara, representing all other stakeholders in the media. I don't know if I should also acknowledge the African, is it the African giants of the automotive journalism? Michael Choma, you have also done well. You are part of us anyway here. So all the media partners, thank you so much. You know your job now starts from today. So please go out there and break the breaking news that this has happened and it wasn't just a talk show. You can only help us to communicate and communicate effectively to the stakeholders. Thank you so much. And last but not the least, sorry, I missed another important person. And if I don't recognize this person, I'm not too sure all of us will be allowed to live here. And that is the landlady. You know, when I say the landlady of where we are now, that is the Director General of LCCI. Please pardon me, Madam Chinyere Alumona. Mona, aha. Sorry, I tried to get that right. Madam DG, thank you so much. We appreciate you for giving us this opportunity. Thank you, ma'am. And of course, I was also asked to appreciate holding the microphone to coordinate is also not that easy. And that is Mr. MC. I was also asked to also appreciate you, Mr. Sunday or Sonyi Tuye. Thank you for thanking me. So once again, thank you, everyone. God bless you. We believe from this session, we will get more value that we all deserve as an institution. God bless. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. I'm going to thank you. You know I will do that. Thank you so much, Mr. Babarinde. Thank you for thanking all of us and for doing also well. I'd like to also just announce to you that as I was standing there, DG was communicating. You know, DG always communicates me. And I will meet Mr. Babarinde to pass the message of the DG directly to you for the benefit of your organization that you serve as head of marketing, GM marketing, and communication. Thank you so much. If you also want to benefit from the opportunity the DG has thrown to or has offered Mikano and few others, please talk to me thereafter. If you want to have your ad in our 2026 Chambers calendar, is a tabletop calendar. I can share a copy with you on how it works. It's a good way to position your brand for pure visibility in the coming years. I have about few months filled now, but if you can do something surprise me in here, maybe I can then, if possible, extend the number of months for the year. But let's talk for how to put your brand on that platform. I have less than 3 weeks to get it out. That's for your own benefit. But DG has perfectly asked Mikano and Mandilas that I should allow them be there. All right, thank you so much. We'd like to have this pinned down. As our custom is, we usually end all of our events with our national anthem, just as we began with the national anthem. Please, can we be upstanding as we do just that? Thank you. Thank you so much. Do have a great day.